The Rams come off the schneid with a huge opening district win. Let's talk about it. Hello, everybody. Terry Bennett here on the Jack Powell Ford Mineral Wells Football Show. As the Mineral Wells Rams look so much better against Bridgeport as they end up doubling them up 49-28. Now, when I say that, that first half was an odd first half. Like Mineral Wells dominated the first half, yet were tied at halftime because they just kept shooting themselves in the foot at the exact wrong time that they could. The great thing is they took care of all those issues, and in the second half, they dominated. How many times have you seen when a better team struggles early against in an upset bid and they just can't ever figure it out? Mineral Wells was able to figure it out, and that's a great, great win for them. Very important to go 1-0 in this district. And I'm going to do, like, I know most of y'all probably know, I do a Brock show as well. Last year we did a Graham show too. We had almost every coach's show, but I do the Mineral Wells and I do the Brock one still. So I'm going to do what I do over there now when we're in district, and we're also going to kind of go over the district schedule for the week. So for like this week, of course, it's Mineral Wells versus Brock. Then you've got Graham versus Bridgeport. You've got Burke Burnett, Eagle Mountain. And this is the record so far. Brock, Graham, and Mineral Wells are all 1-0. Bridgeport, Burke Burnett, and Eagle Mountain are all 0-1. So we'll get a little bit more shaking of the district this week. Really, though, we got to get Mineral Wells to Eagle Mountain, Graham to Eagle Mountain. Those matchups are going to be what decides it as far as the rest of the playoffs. I don't see anybody beating Brock in this district this year, including tonight. I mean, that's just, you got to know where your standing is. You want them to win, but you also know you got to win the games you're supposed to win. That's the most important thing. Pull an upset off, that's awesome. That makes you a better team. But most importantly, win the games you're supposed to. That will get you into the playoffs. I want to thank our sponsor, Jack Powell Ford. You can find them online at jackpowellford.com. I know I say this each and every week, but it's true. It's so easy. You can take care of everything you need online. If you want to look for vehicles, look. If you want to get, get your finance approved, they'll take care of it for you online. And then if you want to go old school, I know I say it every week. I still like the old school, going and looking at cars on a weekend. All you got to do is go to Jack Powell Ford, located at 1418 Southeast 1st Street in Mineral Wells. All right, we're going to take a break. And when we come back, it's the head coach of the Mineral Wells, Cody Worrell, right here on the Jack Powell Ford Mineral Wells Football Show. Here at L4 Media, we talk high school football, 4A, 3A, and 2A in Texas. We talk East Texas sports. We talk NFL, guy talk, movie, and booze. We also talk wrestling and so much more. And you can see it all on our YouTube channel at L4 Media Company. Like and subscribe. Terry Bennett back here on the Mineral Wells Football Show, now joined by the head coach of the Rams, Coach Cody Worrell. And Coach, huge win last week, not only just getting off the 2-game losing streak, but more importantly, you're now 1-0 in district. What were your thoughts on the game?
Yeah, no, I was super excited. It was a big game for us. It was a big win for us to get off to a 1-0 start in district was huge. And so, our kids played really well. We, shot ourselves in the foot a few times in the first half and came out in the second half and kind of put it all together. So we were super pleased about their effort, especially in the second half.
Yeah, I was going to say, in that first half, you basically dominated at times, but y'all had issues with the ball and some turnovers and some penalties and just bad plays at the wrong time. How impressed were you with your kids that they didn't let that get them down in the second half?
Yeah, no, we were nervous at halftime because we felt like we were able to move the ball and we were able to play good defense. Like you said, we just had some mistakes. Just kind of shot ourselves in the foot. We felt like in the first half to where it was timed, and then they made some plays as well. Don't get me wrong. The Bridgeport made some plays as well, but no, I was so happy the way we started off in the second half, coming out on fire and kind of made it that a 3-score game pretty quick right there in the third quarter.
For you and this program, how important was it is it to be 1-0 going into Brock?
Oh, it's huge. It's so big. They getting off to that 1-0 start, and for our goal and to be in we want to make the playoffs. That's our number one goal, is getting in the playoffs, and that's exactly we did exactly what we're supposed to do for that first game.
All right, well, let's go ahead and talk about them. Brock, you know them well. And you and I were talking off
Mhm.
there, and I don't know how this is possible with the long history that y'all started and has been carried by Billy Mathis there. How this skill group for Brock might be the most talented they've ever had.
Yeah, no, they've got skilled kids everywhere. They really do. All starts with the Matlock kid. He was probably their best playmaker. If not, if not last year, maybe the past 2 years. I
Mhm.
mean, he's really really explosive and does a really good job. But he's not the only one, man. They've got kids everywhere. The quarterback does a phenomenal job of distributing the ball to everyone, not just one person, and they can run the football effectively as well with those two running backs that they have. And man, they're just very very talented.
And defensively, they, again, offensively, they had to rebuild, but especially defensively, I think they returned one or two starters, and yet their defense has been just as good this year.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, and they moved Matlock kid from corner to safety, and he's been very effective there. And their linebackers are really really good. The 44, their Mike backer, the Waller kid, he's a really really good linebacker. He's a big physical kid that's downhill, kind of an old school linebacker, but moves really really well. And their returning starter, 23, the backer, the far hat kid, he does a phenomenal job as well. He started last year for them as a freshman, and all their backers are good. I mean, they're very very solid, very well coached, and they do a very good job.
Now, you and I talked before we recorded, and one of the things I like about you and the coaches that I do these shows with, almost all of y'all are very honest about where you feel your team is in pecking order in your district. Now, in saying that, don't you also kind of look at this as a measuring up game just to kind of see where we are compared to where that program is?
100%. No, that's what I told our kids. It is a great opportunity, and each week your goal is to get better each week. And so this week, our message to the kids is we're going to try to go over there and we're going to try to find a win a way. We're going to try to find a way to win the ball game. But at the end of the day, we just want to make sure that we're getting better and playing physical and playing fast and getting to the football on defense and making sure that we understand our assignments.
You weathered such a rough early storm. Things are starting to get a little bit clearer. You are getting a little bit healthier and things. It feels like even for you, your outlook's a little bit more positive. Not that you were ever negative earlier, but I think you even see now, okay, we have our path set.
Yeah, absolutely. No, getting some kids back. Still have a couple of kids that are still, lingering injuries that, may not play, get to play tonight. But, just the overall, I think that we're getting more healthier and healthier, and our kids are playing better. Even the kids that have been out there, they're getting better, and so that's the positive thing, and getting better. When you start a football season, you want to make sure that you're playing your best football when it matters, and hopefully it's all coming together for us.
All right, last question, and this is more personal. You're going to Brock, of course. We all know you were a coordinator there when they won state, and they're celebrating their 10-year anniversary of winning that state championship in 2015. And it's kind of cool. You get to be there. Your dad, of course, who was the head coach, gets to be there. What does that mean for you personally, going back to Brock like that?
Yeah, it'll be the first time. Had a lot of great memories at that place, man. There's a lot of really good people there, man. I coached some phenomenal some phenomenal young men, and some really good football players. And man, it's going to be really special. Just talking about that 2015 year was so just the build up. The starting at the junior high and then going to a sub varsity schedule and then a outlaw varsity schedule and then going to the regional finals our first year in UIL and then winning it. Man, it's kind of a storybook journey. And it's I'm very thankful that Coach Massey, their athletic director, allowed them to do that that 10-year anniversary on a week where my dad could be there because I know that's special to him and it's his off week. It just worked out perfect for us that his off week is the game that we play Brock at Brock, and so it's going to be special. It's going to be really nice to see those kids. I shouldn't say kids anymore; those men. I kept up with most of them. There's some kids that I haven't. Again, there's some young men that I haven't seen in a long time, and I'm going to be tickled to death to see those guys and hug their necks and it is going to be a little bit different going back there and being on that visitor sideline. Played a lot of coached a lot of games on that opposite sideline, and heck, I proposed to my wife on that field, and just a lot of really good memories there. And it's just going to be different. But man, it again, it goes back. That's going to be nice, but still have business to take care of on my end and do my job and look past all that.
As always, I do want to thank Coach Worrell for joining us here on the show. If you have any questions for the show, email them to me, Terry at s2ssport.com. It can be for him. It can be for the 4A show, Sideline to Sideline. Check that out each and every week as we talk 4A football. We also talk 3A and 2A as well. YouTube.com/@L4Media for the video. L4 Media Company, excuse me, for the video. You can also check our podcast platforms and our podcast page, s2sgrantandterry.com. Really cool thing Brock's doing is celebrating their 10th year anniversary of their state championship in football. Of course, Cody Worrell was the offensive coordinator on that team. His dad, Chad Worrell, was the head coach. It worked perfect that Mineral Wells is playing in Brock on the same week that Pilot Point, which is where Chad Worrell coaches now, is off on a bye week. So Coach Massey, the AD there, and Coach Mathis, the head football coach there at Brock, wonderful planning and timing and allowing it to happen to let the former coaches come and enjoy the moment in the spotlight there for Brock. Again, we want to thank our title sponsor, Jack Powell Ford. Just go to jackpowellford.com. Until next time, this has been that Jack Powell Ford Mineral Wells Football Show.